So it's come to our attention that YouTube is using our channel as a mechanism for everyone around the world to learn about Toronto real estate. And it turns out that the algorithm needs all of you to make a lot of comments
and reply to comments, especially ones that you don't agree with.
and let them know how idiotic they really sound and your opposite opinion to what they think or what we think.
There, and we'll be there to support you. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
And especially arguing in the comments, please. Duke it out.
We're gonna head in the direction of real estate today. That is the goal.
You're gonna try and talk about real estate today. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, welcome. Our favorite guest, Nasma Ali. She is back. We are so appreciative of her time today, and we're gonna get right down to it. How's everything going, Nasma?
Hi, it's good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Is real estate
I'm not in Toronto right now? Yeah. Still a thing?
Is it still a thing? Yeah. Like, are people still interested in real estate right now, or
does anybody
kind of like, is it old news now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I heard the market
kind of slowed down a little bit. People are
I heard it died.
Yeah, tons of inventory. There's just a lot of options.
No, not tons of inventory, but it's definitely slower now. Not everywhere, but it's slower than spring.
Tell me what you mean by slower. Slower means a lot of different things.
Means less showings, way less showings.
So less volume on your listings of people coming in to see them.
Yeah. And there's a lot of listings out there that have an offer night and they end up with 0 offers.
Ooh. Where is this happening?
Well, let's just say, for example, East End, right? In the East End, there's been consistently, ever since after Labor Day, there's been about 30, 40 listings a day hitting the market. So you can imagine that is a lot of inventory. And usually, by the way, usually what happens is that there's a whole ton of these. That doesn't mean there's no buyers. But what happens is, because there's so much competition, like so many houses out there, there's always like a handful of houses that are beautiful and shiny, and all the buyers go to that house and offer on that house. And then all the other nice, decent ones are neglected and they're left with no offers. But then what they do is that the next day they just relist at the price they actually want, right? And then, but they'll sell. Like, we're not in the US, we're not like Southern America suffering real estate where, you can stay 2, 3, 4, 5 months on the market, not sell. We're pretty good. I mean, we're kind of spoiled here. If something doesn't sell on offer night, it's the end of the world. You think that there's a problem. There's no problem. There's also nothing wrong with the house. It's just that, there's a lot of, you're competing with a lot of houses. That's why I tell a lot of people that, if your house, I mean, it's hard for sellers to be objective about that, but if your house is kind of average, right? Or if you're
my house is not average, it's better than everybody else's.
Exactly.
Do you see the grass? You know how long I've spent on that grass?
Do you understand how functional this kitchen really is when you think about it?
Look at the drawers. When you open the drawers and 2 people can be standing back to back and be both not touching each other.
That's funny.
Don't look there.
Yeah. At least 15,000.
That cupboard was perfect before you got here.
Yeah.
Or if you have like a house that has some issue, like a deal breaker, for example, if it's facing a school or if it's on a main road, right? Those houses, if there's low inventory, you can do very well. You can do the best. Low inventory in hot market. But in a high inventory market, you're not going to do well because now you're just competing with so many other houses.
I'm so confused though. Where is this East End with all the inventory you're speaking about? Because this is the first I've ever heard about that. Excess inventory.
Well, Nasma's the expert here, Darryl. So
there's so much. I'm not questioning her. I believe her. I just haven't heard this before. So I am in shock here.
It's funny because we had a listing in Milton and we had a listing in Oakville and we had a listing in the East End. And, of course, a lot of our, our offices in the East End, a lot of our colleagues have listings in the East End. We all talk. The one in Milton got 15 offers.
What? Hold on.
Okay.
What's East End though? Are we talking like
East End? I mean, you know, Leslieville
Durham?
Beaches. It's
Oh.
still no. It's still, you know, urban Toronto.
Lots of
Yeah.
inventory in the beaches in Leslieville now?
Yeah, more than there used to be, but that's normal because everybody, what happens is that there's a collection of like, or an accumulation of inventory, because from July onward, people who are not desperate to sell, or they just need to sell eventually, they wait until September. So you basically have like a month and a half of inventory that's like bottled up and waiting for like after Labor Day. And then after Labor Day, they list. And so there's a lot of listings out there.
And everyone's hearing right now, low inventory, now's the time. So my house is worth
But it
20%
is-
more. So I'm gonna list. Now's the
You
time.
can't
is
change
low.
this to from low inventory to even or even a good amount of inventory anytime soon.
It is low, by
impossible.
the way. It is low in
Yeah.
some areas. It's still low. So yeah, that's why, I mean, in Milton, we still got 15 offers. The price point was 850K with an offer date. It was, and
What
then
did
the
it sell
one in
for?
Oakville, close to $1 million.
See, this is good news,
And-
because what happens when the market gets too tight? All the sellers all of a sudden get really greedy. Everybody wants way more money than their house is worth. And it puts like strain on the market and the agents and buyers and their stress and emotions and all that kind of stuff. And then buyers get so emotionally taxed. They're like, I don't
Yeah.
want to go out. There's no inventory. There's 20 offers on every. They need to hear that a property didn't get the offers on offer night. And they need to hear that someone bought something for maybe under asking in order to keep the market going. Right. So
So-
I'm glad the direction that it
You're
Says
totally
here-
right about, yeah, go on.
Says here, Toronto besieged by tightest real estate market in recent memory.
But we have short memories in Toronto, Darryl. We have short memories.
I feel like this is not real time. I don't think their
well,
data
this
is
is the
real
thing.
time. I
Well,
think because
it
in
came
August,
out
that
on the
was the case.
25th. It came out
Okay.
September 25th yesterday.
But that they probably have August data. That's
Yeah,
the
for
problem with
sure.
these news outlets, is that
Yeah.
they have August. And in August, yes, even the East End was very tight. We had clients, buyers. They're like, there's nothing there. There's nothing out there, you know?
Wow.
But
I
again, there's
I
some
agree with
houses that are
too.
still, by the way, there's some houses that are still getting multiples. There was one house we were looking at, was listed at, I think, 1.5. It was a beautiful house. It checks all the boxes. It's like perfect, right? It's the shiny object. And they received a bully, and they sold for 1.9, right? Which we thought it would sell for 1.8. So again, some, you know, products are still like detached with parking, renovated. Those are still doing well. People, you know, they're still kind of looking to move to a bigger house, but not as much as in spring, because to be honest, since from last year until September, right? Most people who wanted to move moved,
Mhm.
right? What's left? We're not going to have that intensity for another year. All the people that needed to do it, they did it. The motivated people did it, right?
Yeah.
Now
New
it's
reasons.
just the few, for the small percentage of people who maybe didn't think of it before. Now they want to do it, or, you know, now they're thinking about it, whatever it is. But I mean, last year was a lot of unknown. And so it pushed a lot of people to make decisions based on that unknown. Whereas now I think there's less unknown, because a lot of companies have, you know, told their employees either, you know, kind of what their plan is. Either we're going to stay remote forever, or plan to come back by December, right? I just heard that today.
Before we get too
Yeah.
far into the market stuff, what I
Yeah.
want to know is, and I want the truth here, okay? I want the whole truth here, nothing but the truth.
Always. Yeah.
How did you become the
Yes.
realtor of the stars?
Yes, I have the same note here.
How
Hold on,
are
let me
you
put it
the
up on the
celebrity
screen.
That's
realtor?
so
What is the
funny.
secret you can
Hold on,
share
hold on,
to
hold
new
on.
realtors that they're aspiring to be
Look
in
at
your
this.
shoes one day?
Oh,
Look
God.
at this. Hold on, what did I do wrong here?
What the
I was going to
photo.
ask the exact same question. I got it right here. Realtor to the stars.
Realtor to the
That's
stars.
funny.
That's it.
That's funny.
No surprise.
How
Not
did
really.
this happen? Not a
He's
surprise to
amazing.
her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at
he's
this.
amazing.
No surprise to me either. No, you're a great agent, and this is
Oh, thank you.
your brand.
What
Absolutely.
a beautiful
Thank
picture.
you. Yeah,
Look at
that was
this.
such an incredible experience. It just was so surreal. working with him was, yeah, a really cool experience. And he's a nice guy, so it made it easier. No, I think it's really, I mean, it's not, okay, forget about the Realtor to the stars. That part is not true. But,
Just
but
the
it was
sports
just through
stars.
connections. Yeah, right. It was just through connections. It was, I mean, that's what we're in the business of this, right? Meeting people, talking to people. And, you know, you build your, you know, one person connects you to another, connects you to another. And this was just kind of like a mutual friend that connected us. Yeah.
Cool.
What would be your advice to?
House.
It was a Facebook ad. It was a Facebook ad that he clicked, and then he connected with me.
What would be your advice?
It's not a Facebook.
I know.
ad.
I could
Why
hear
do you know, but maybe other people.
I bought it.
What would you give to advice, right, to people who are saying to themselves, I want to be, you know, a high profile luxury broker, not even just the celebrities, but just people who are more, you know, in that position in life. What would you say to give advice to a young realtor out there?
I would say the best way would be to shadow a realtor who is a luxury realtor. It's hard to qualify, like what is a luxury realtor, because, you know, luxury in the US is $1 million plus. Here, $1 million plus is not luxury. You know what I mean? I'd say like maybe 3 million plus, something like that. But yeah, I would say just to shadow an agent who does do a lot of these, you know, high price point deals. And you can learn a lot and be, you know, there's a lot that you can learn from that. And
should I join it? Should I join a country club?
You make it. Yeah, right.
Should I join like the Granite Club or something like that first?
With those people. You know what? It's funny because there's someone who was telling me that he door knocked, I think Forest Hill. I don't know where, some expensive area, maybe Bridle Path. I don't know, some area that's, you know, really expensive. And he said, you know what? You'd be surprised. Nobody door knocks those areas because they're intimidated.
Sure.
That, you know, all the dominant agents, you know, own it, and these people are not even going to give you the time of day. But he's like, you'd be surprised. They never get anyone door knocking their doors.
They're lonely. They're
drinking
all day.
That's right. Somebody please come to the door.
Talking to all the nannies and butlers are sick of me. Yeah.
So yeah.
Crazy.
Awesome.
That's amazing though. So
yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, and I was actually going to lead in with the same thing, to tell us the honest to God truth, which I know you will, although it's very enticing to answer the right way this question. But like, was there like a notch that you like, did you up it a level for him? Like, was there like this other level of Nasma that Van Fleet got to see?
I would say no. Like, I mean, I gave the same. That is the right answer, but that's the truth.
I treat all my clients the
same. I do, but you know, I do because
to me.
Yeah, listen, Van Fleet's leaving, and whenever the season's over, whenever. But people here, I mean, they're repeat business, right? So because you know, I help them, they refer friends, and they have friends here, and they, you know, they buy again. So I know it's not the fun answer for you, but it was the same. The only thing that was a little different is that I just don't ask questions. You know what I mean? Like, usually if it's a client, I'll ask like, oh, you know, what's your situation? How, you know, what do you want? Why do you want this? Or why do you want that, to try to figure out. But with him, it's like, I'm not going to ask, oh, so when are you going to be here for showings? I would literally just send I'm on a need to know basis. That's it. Right? That's really, because I don't think they want to be bothered. And I don't like keep asking, hey, when are we going to go? Like, I leave them alone, and that's it. Yeah, that was the versus with other people. I mean, it's a little different, right? It's more, you know, hey, when do you want to see these places? And, you know, when are you available? And yeah.
So one of the criteria
with us, who's coming with us? With him, I'm not going to ask him who's coming with us. Like, it's none of my business. So, yeah.
So we talked about it when we were looking at houses a few months ago, and I figured, and I could be wrong, but like, the lack of inventory is at every single level. Like, having more money doesn't make it easier to find the house that you're looking for, does it?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Like, there's still only a few houses that he would be willing to buy, right?
Yeah.
In the area with the finishes.
Yeah, there was, I mean, even at the time, right, there was not a lot of inventory. So
when did this
like
happen?
at that time? A few months ago. I think we started in spring-ish or like early, I think early summer or something. But yeah.
Why did he
Yeah, there
choose to
was not
buy
a lot.
now? Did he already own and he was upping it
Oh,
because of his new
I don't want to
contract, or we don't
say, I
know?
don't
He
want to
signed
say.
the contract in January, so maybe that was part of it, right?
I know, but
4-year
I want
deal.
to know if he's going from a
Yeah.
rental or if this guy
Uh,
just
I
went
can't
from
say. I
like
can't say.
boom to
What kind
kaboom.
of car does he drive? No, I'm joking.
Okay, we'll have Fred on next week. He's a
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
personal friend of somebody I kind of know. It's great.
there you go. There you go. So yeah,
Awesome.
so the market is obviously still moving. Like we're definitely seeing interest, and there's lots of
Yeah.
buyers out there, and that there's people who
Yeah.
are still keen. What do you see is like a new trend? So we had everybody obviously buying because of COVID, and they were like wanting bigger houses and stuff. Why are people moving today? Like, are people buying just because they want to get investment properties? Are they buying because they want to upsize still, get out of the city? Is there any trend that you're seeing?
No, I mean, now it's more, there's still some people who wanted to leave the city and they just finally made that decision now, right? Because not everybody's that quick. Not everybody's going to decide to do this in like 6 months or, in that first year. Some people were still kind of debating doing it and now they're reaching out. But again, it's not as many as there were in the first year, right?
Mhm.
In terms of trends, it's such a weird time because I mean condos is a whole other thing, but because condos that also was like going up and down, um, but I'm also seeing people now with just normal circumstances, like they just feel like the space is too small for them and they want a bigger house, which is in any normal circumstance they would have said the same, when their 5-year term ends or whatever, or people who what was it? Yeah, they came across inheritance and now they can get a bigger
Those are the best
house.
clients.
Yeah, right.
Found
But
some money along the way, right?
yeah,
Upsize my life.
yeah,
Daryl
upsize.
quotes you a lot for, like, I think it's your Twitter about the downtown condos, right? And it's
Mm.
about maybe rentals that are coming back, students that are coming back, investors that are
Oh
coming
my
back.
God.
What's going on downtown and with the condo market? I mean, it's
That
not my
was so
focus, so
busy. Yeah, you
Last
know
time
what?
you were
During the
here,
summer,
it was like dead, and like you were saying people can't
wow,
even sell their condos,
wow,
and you don't know what to
so
tell people about
different.
values, and now it's
Yeah,
well, that was
yeah,
6 months ago.
yeah.
So now what's going on in condos?
That was so different. Was that 6 months ago? I feel like
Yeah,
that could have
it
been
was six
last
months ago.
year. Hmm.
No,
we don't
Oh
ask you
yeah, I
until you
was
forget about
okay. I was
the
talking
show.
about the year before though, but yeah, yeah, that was I'll never forget. Never forget.
What,
Last
this
year was
summer?
just no, last year was
Oh,
brutal.
how it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I feel like if you've gone through that, then you can go through anything in terms of selling. Because yeah, we had condos for like 3 months. It was again, it was one of those things where if you have a condo with some issues, like we were selling a 2-bedroom condo with over $1,000 per condo fee. It was a new building, and
Mm.
that's not a normal amount for a condo fee. It's way more than it should be,
yeah.
and that was extremely challenging.
Why
And
was it so
I think
high?
it took 3 months. Oh, it was just, I mean, to be honest, there was no straight answer. I think it just started climbing. I just don't think they did a good job. The board did a good job managing it, but there wasn't like a one reason. But yeah, it was just, it was tough selling that one. But yeah, so since then, what happened? And even rental market was really, really bad, right?
Back,
Horrible.
like
Um,
it's
Yeah.
back to pre pandemic
yeah,
levels. No, or
yeah.
close.
Close, yeah.
Downtown?
I mean,
Downtown?
yeah, downtown, yeah. So, I mean, rentals for houses were doing great, right? Rentals for houses through, from like end of last year until all of this year, they were actually doing very, very well because more people wanted to be in a house. Also, because some people wanted to be in a house and they realized they couldn't afford to buy a house. And so instead, they went to rent a house. And there were multiple offers on houses. Okay, offer dates on houses. That
Yeah, that's
was
funny.
that was in the beginning of the year up until like, let's say summer. But then summer was a different type of wave, right?
Heat wave.
It was, yeah, it was more students, students who need a place by September 1st. A lot of international students, a lot of Chinese students from Vancouver. What we were seeing.
Chinese students from Vancouver.
Yeah.
That were going to school in Vancouver and switched to here?
In Toronto.
No.
They probably like are immigrated to Canada to Vancouver and then wanted to come to school to Toronto. So they're like Chinese descent. Yeah. So my little sister is just starting her post-grad master's at U of T. So I went and rented her a condo with her friends. And this was in August, I think, maybe July.
Oh yeah.
And it was crazy. It was crazy. There was like nothing was available. Everything that came up was leased before we even got to the place.
Oh yeah.
The prices had climbed up. When I looked at the numbers in 2 months, prices climbed up 10 or 20%. Yeah. Like it was pretty drastic. They ended up at 1,001 Bay, which I'm really happy with because they're right in the area that they want to be in. And they took an older unit that needs work. And I said, like, not work, but you know what I mean? Not updated. I said, forget the fancy stuff, get into a bigger space and have the location, because she's doing stuff that's sick kids and something else in that area. But I thought, like, oh my gosh, agents in that space are struggling, right, to find a property, especially down in that Bay
their tenants
corridor.
Yeah, oh my god, I was seeing a lot of desperation. By the way, those students are actually international students in Vancouver. They're not just like immigrated. A lot of them are like, you know, actually international students. For some reason, I don't know why they were living in Vancouver. Maybe their parents own property there, but then the school is back. By the way, it wasn't just students. There were a lot of employees, office workers that, you know, their office said, hey, like, we're planning on, you know, having kind of a transition back into the office this fall. So we saw a lot of corporate people, executives, whatever, even if they're not executives, like, and whatever it is, coming back to the city. And a lot of people who are living in their parents' basement, right? A lot of people from the service industry who now they actually have a job, like, again. And so now they can rent with their roommates again. So yeah, we were just seeing everything, and everybody was wanting to come back for September 1st. So what we were seeing is day one, we had a few rentals. Day one on market, immediately, offers above asking, 1 year up front, sight unseen. These people, these agents are so desperate. They're sending the offer as soon as they see the listing. They look at the photos, the general criteria, offer. They didn't even see it.
It's crazy.
No condition of seeing it. No condition of seeing it.
I feel like we went from like free TVs and free months and like free moving costs to all of a sudden it's like bidding wars on everything is like one day to the next.
Yeah, it was like day and night. I have so many landlords who suffered last year. You know what I mean? When it was really, really hard. And like you said, they were giving discounts and they were pushed in a corner to, you know, to give all sorts of incentives.
Yeah.
That's remember I told you?
Go ahead.
You remember I told you that, sorry, you remember I told you last year, like, usually if you're, you know, your lease, if you're renting your place, now, you know, you're competing with current rentals, right? Like when you're leasing out. But last year, even if you're not leasing out your place, if you're on a month to month, you're automatically at the mercy of what's coming up in your building. Do you see what I mean? Because now tenants are actually looking at what's coming up. And they're like, hey, this is 1,900 and I'm paying you 2,300. I can easily move to this unit in the building. See what I mean? So you're not even in the market.
And a lot of rents must come up around the same time because the units got built at the same time and got sold to investors at the same time, got tenanted around the same time.
September is big too. September's big.
We had a pre-con. But that's the thing. You know, that's the thing that you should keep in mind when you're buying pre-con is, you know, if it's very investor heavy on occupancy, it's not going to be that easy renting out the unit. It's even in a hot market, I mean, to absorb all those units. But yeah, so we had like sight unseen, all that. And all these things, by the way, I didn't ask, like, it's not like I asked and I said, I want a year up front. They just give it to you. They don't even call you. They don't try to negotiate. They give it to you. And then literally Every 2 hours, I was getting an offer, agents calling. It was just, I had to actually send a mass message to agents and say that, hey, we've accepted, please like stop calling, because it was just, because everybody wants to call and like, what can I do? Like, there's nothing to do. We literally just accepted. And so some people were having offers, you know, I mean, we had 9, 10 offers in one day. So yeah, it was a frenzy. It was a frenzy.
And prices though for condos though, like for people buying, is that not something like, I don't think they've all come back in a lot of areas.
You know, what's interesting is that for the longest time since COVID, investors have shied away from buying resale condos.
Buying resale?
Yeah, specifically
I see.
Because the rent tanked, right? Already in our market, prices are so high that rents barely make sense. You're always out of pocket by like $300 to $500 a month, right? That's our market because it's so expensive. And
or you have to put a lot of equity.
I'm talking, I'm talking, if you put 20% down though, it's like you're $300 to $500 out of pocket, but people are buying it for the appreciation, right? But when COVID hit, now that $300-500 was like $1,000 out of pocket because the rents just went so low. And so it just didn't make sense for investors. And that's why there was even more pressure on pre-con, because pre-con is affordable more than houses. You know, the higher houses go, then there's a shift where then the condos start going high because people who realize they can't get a house, they now shift to condos, right? Now, the investors weren't shifting to condos because it just didn't make sense. They don't even know when they can get it rented. They don't know how low it's going to be when it rents. And so they were going towards pre-con because for them, pre-con, they don't have to worry about a tenant for another 4 or 5 years, right? So that's why pre-con has, you know, you can ask anyone who does pre-con intensively and they're just, you know, it's hot.
It's not.
They get sold out, you know.
I just saw a release in Pickering for $950 plus a square foot.
Condos or houses?
Condos, Pickering.
Oh yeah.
The universal one.
Crazy. I was in Guelph yesterday. Okay. You want to talk? It's like a construction boom going on in Guelph, all near the university, just like building after building. There's cranes. It's like, insanity what's going on, and not even close to enough. Nowhere.
I was hearing a story from a baby boomer this week who said he went to University of Guelph back in the 70s, whenever it was. And because the baby boomers, obviously, there was this huge population growth and they hadn't planned for that. So at university, they had no dorms. So literally everyone used to just live in tents outside in the campus field because there wasn't enough places for people to stay. So he's like, young people are complaining about housing today. He says, but this is what you had to do. And when the baby boomers they had 10 times as many people applying for everything that you were going to, right? So they finally figured it out 50 years later. Build some more units.
Build some more units. Well, they needed some time to build up the equity to do it.
They needed time. Yeah, they needed time.
So there's a couple of things that we definitely should talk about. I mean, we just had an election, for God's sakes. We should at least talk about what we think the effect on the real estate market will be from getting the exact same government back. That was good.
Nothing.
I wasted my first vote of all time to get the same.
That was your first vote?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
I swear to God it was.
Oh my goodness.
To get the same government.
We're going to have to, we're going to talk later, Daryl. We're going to talk after the show.
The only thing I'm worried about is just the capital gains on primary residence.
That's unlikely.
There's the kiss of death.
Yeah.
The liberals are going to just keep on giving everybody money and the real estate market's going to keep going up. That's what's going to happen.
Exactly. You know, it's funny. Yeah, go on.
We're going to see a trend where people are going to wait to see what happens with this CMHC increase. Like, why not wait until this policy goes through? Because now you know what I'm talking about? They're they're increasing the CMHC loan to 1.25 million instead of $1 million ceiling.
Yeah.
Right? Which gives everybody more buying power. So today, if all you can afford is $1 million, if you wait for this thing to go through, you can afford 1.25. Now
that's with less than 20% down. You're saying what he's talking about is
if it's less than 20% down.
Because now it's $1 million.
So, but like, if this is circulating out there that this might happen, wouldn't you say, like, I'm going to kind of wait and see, maybe I can stretch my dollar a little bit further?
But when is it happening?
I don't have a.
Nobody knows.
Maybe it'll
Nobody knows
maybe
if
it'll
it even
never
does
happen.
happen. Yeah,
That's right. It's just a
CMHC
campaign
is
Yeah, if it
promise.
happens.
Yeah.
It's funny that the parties, like the conservative and liberal, they both have the same. The only same stance is like, yeah, we're gonna tax or vacancy or foreign buyers. It's so easy to target. Okay, it's so easy to target foreign buyers. First of all, they have like almost no no real weight in our demand supply. Like it's not that much. It's not gonna make any kind of effect or real change in our market. But it's easy to target them because they don't vote. So you're not gonna offend anybody by doing this, right?
Yeah, like on a multiple offer night.
But you can pretend you're making a change.
On a multiple offer night, when you have 15 offers, how many of them are from foreign buyers?
Probably none.
0.
I'm telling you right now, none. Yeah.
No one's ever come to me and said like, he's in Hong Kong, he's in India, he's in England, and they're buying.
I've had that. Yes, I've had that, but it's such a small. It's like 1%. It's such a small percentage.
They leave that out of the.
And they're not the ones that are kind of making this market the way it is. Come on, that 1% is not what's changing, like what we're seeing.
But when the couple writes the letter, right, with the photo of themselves, I got one of those this week, and the foreign buyers should do that, right? They're like, hey, I'm in my flat here in London, and I really like the photos you have online, and I swear I'm going to close on time. Here's my check. It's 50,000 euros, and I'm a great person, and you should sell your house to me. I'm going to rent it out to somebody local, and they could probably win a few rounds like that. I think it would work. You should try it.
I think people look down on. They don't want to sell it to foreign buyers. Somehow they connect that with like, why our market is the way it is, but it's not.
No, isn't it the way it is because of the blind bidding? It's the blind bidding.
It's the foreigners, Darryl.
Aren't we getting rid of the blind bidding?
They're buying all our real estate.
By the way, the open bidding also has its problems. If you read articles, what's in Australia, because they have that open bidding, it also has problems and issues like fake, like ghost bidders, right? Like fake bidders. Come on, like nothing is perfect. There's always going to be,
It'd be nice to see like what the top bid is, though. I mean, fuck, how many people, including me, paid way more than they needed to because they could afford X, and they were just like, you know what, fuck it, let's just put in X and see what happens.
Okay,
but what if this, for example, just Darryl, we're going to use a real life scenario here. What if the price that the other bidder, right, ended up being very close to yours, and then that incentivized them to beat yours because they saw where you were? Maybe they thought they were paying too much. Then you go another round, so you end up paying more because you're going to say, damn it, now he's up by me for 5,000. Well, I'm going to go up 10, right? So like,
that's my thing is like, at what point
where does it stop? Yeah.
I think there's just more of that on a smaller incremental level if you can see what the other person bids. But if the market keeps moving by like 10% because somebody goes all in with all their chips, right, and they didn't need to, then the market just constantly is artificially being pushed higher than it needs to, right? So let's say I could have bought my house for 1,625 instead of 1,7 because I saw the other guy was at like 1,610 or whatever the fuck, right?
Exactly.
Now I just pushed the whole area to 1,7 now. Like, right? Every comp now is looking at my house in the area as the most recent. And that's what keeps fucking happening all over the place. Now will eliminating blind bidding change that? I mean, it has to have an effect on that somewhat. That has to be the better of the two evils if they're both evils. Doesn't that sound beautiful?
Yeah.
It sounds good in theory, but again, people are competitive. So just like an auction for a piece of art, someone might go in and say, you know what, I'm willing to pay $1 million for that piece. And the next guy, just says, oh, you know what, it's close, but I'm not really that interested. But if that guy was at 995 and both put their best bet in, didn't know, they're nervous that it's going to get accepted or not, and they just basically call their limits at what they are, that 995 offer, he might have said, you know what, it's only an extra 5. I'll go up 10. But the guy at $1 million's like, I really want it. I'm going to go up another 10. Oh, it's only another 10.
It's not that it's not I really want it. Everybody really wants it. It's like, how much do you got? Right? I got this. That's what I got. That's what I can afford now because I've looked at so many. I've lost out on so many. This is what I got. I want the house.
Yeah, but some people have a hard max, by the way. Not everybody has an unlimited, like 5, 10K more, 5, 10K more,
No,
5,
but
10K
that's what
more.
I'm saying. But if your max is 1.5, it's like just fucking go at 1.5. Let's get the house already.
I
Can't
agree.
look at
the way-
another
There's
house.
scenarios where the blind bidding would allow for the house to sell for less, but there are just as many scenarios where it will end up getting it to sell for more.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
not a
I
perfect
agree
fix.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But it seems a little more legit. Like I feel from the not agent perspective that there's a lot of shenanigans that could possibly go on in the background with all of these. Like, I don't know who made the offer, what the offer was, if there
Yes.
was even another offer,
Yeah.
did they
Yeah,
really
yeah.
come back at this? Like, where's the
Yeah.
motivation? Where's the incentive? Right?
It's
Yeah, and
all
it's
the honor.
happening
It's the
very
honor
fast.
system.
And it happens very fast, by the way. Whereas
Honor
in our
system.
Yeah, it
in
is.
our
That's a good
like
idea.
system, in
Yeah.
our system, we, if we feel okay, so this is actually I'm just gonna if I feel that someone is coming in with an offer that they're gonna win, right? And they're above what the last comp was selling for. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't just say, okay, accept it, right? Because there's always, who are these people? Do they have 20% down?
Really
Right?
close.
Because
Mhm.
keep in mind, under $1 million, you don't have to have 20% down, right? You know that, like 15%, 10%, whatever. But I always ask the agent, like, do they have 20% down? Do they have extra money? Do they have a cushion? Because what if it doesn't appraise, right?
Mm.
So, I mean, it's not going to be by a lot. And one more thing I'll say, I know a lot of people think that they're overpaying when there's an offer date. Usually, let's say the price range, let's just say, it's worth between 950 and $1 million based on what comps, like previous comps are saying, right? On offer night, just from me being on the other side, like on the listing side, a lot, right? Every week we have a few like sales and I'm on the listing side. And so I get to see the quality of like all the offers coming in, right? On multiple different properties. It's gone are the days where the winning person is like 200,000 over. Okay. That's
What do you
rarely
mean?
happens
Over
anymore.
the asking or over
Over
the second place?
over the second place. Okay.
Okay.
That's very rare. Nowadays, if we get like the other day, if we get 8 offers, they're all, let's say we listed at 750 and the value is about 830, right? They're all in increments. I can tell you right now between, let's say, I don't know, 765, let's say 765, increments of 5, 10, 15K, all the way until, let's say, 850. That's really what it is. Like the second and third price offer that we had on one property were a difference of 1,000. There was one time we sold a condo, and that was a townhouse. One time we sold a condo downtown. We had like 10 offers. Okay. On round 2, everybody's like close to like, they were like 1 something. The last comp was 1. Okay. Or like, no, sorry, 1,070,000. Okay. And we felt, okay, we got a bully for like, whatever. It was, let's say 1. But we felt that we can get more just based on the showings, right? And this was, by the way, this was post-COVID. I mean, post-COVID, like, after COVID was introduced into it. When people are like, oh, what do you mean post-COVID? It's not okay, I mean, after COVID existed, right, in our lives. Obviously, we're not over it. So anyway, but yeah, after that happened, because there was, that's what I was going to tell you guys, like the condo market went up a little bit. Now it's slow again. But anyway, so in that property, we had 10 offers. When we came back for round 2, the 3 top offers were all 1.2 with maybe $500 between each other. That's hard. That's hard because, and these are 3 agents who really wanted it. And they were like trying and calling you and like building rapport. And it's hard to, if you lose by 50,000, you don't feel as bad. But if you lose by $500 or $1,000. So anyway, so and by the way, the funny part, this is interesting part. It's a condo downtown and the 3 winning offers at 1.2 were all agents from Hamilton, Burlington, Mississauga. They were not city agents.
Really?
Right? Yeah. Because they're all like, I don't know, family friends or the kids. They were coming from, this is the interesting part, is that the kids are coming from like Caledon or I don't know where, Hamilton, all these other parts of Ontario, and now they're moving into the city because of their jobs.
To buy or
$1.2
to
million
rent?
condo.
To buy.
To buy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's just such a mix now that you're seeing that everything is fascinating to me, right? Whereas before, when people say that they're coming to work, it's normal. Now, all of these things, I just want to know what everybody's story is, because I'm just trying to see what's the trend, what's happening nowadays, right? Are people coming back? There's a lot of couples that are looking for a 2-bedroom, 2 and den, and they're working downtown. Like there was one couple now, one person, their job asked them to be in the office, and the other person is permanently remote job, but they want to be downtown because one of them, their office is downtown, right? So you don't have to both be needing to be in the office, right? But yeah, the point is the offers are actually, it would surprise you, they're all hovering very, very close together, very close together. It's you don't see 100,000 over the second place. It's rare.
I guess you'd probably see that a little more in the higher priced stuff than you would in the sub-million.
Yeah. No, even in the higher price, I'm telling you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In 2017, there was like examples of like $200,000-$300,000.
Oh yeah.
More.
That in 2017, that happened a lot.
Yeah. Where and we've had a couple since then. It's not like it never happens. It does happen.
It's so rare though. It's so rare. For the most part,
majority of the time it doesn't happen.
For the most part, you're not overpaying, and actually buyers are pretty conservative with what they're offering you. Like they're not just throwing all their money at you and giving you 300,000 over the asking. But
but when they do, that's a good day for the sellers, right? Like you said, one was what listed at 1.5, it sold for 1.9 recently. You said you guys thought maybe
on a bully
offer.
Yeah, it was worth about 1.8.
The cojones that it takes to put $400,000 over.
They just want it. You know what it is? They just want to get it done. They want to get it done. They love it. They don't want to keep looking. It's getting cold out there. December's around the corner. They don't want to be looking while it's Christmas. So that's it. They just locked it down.
That's one thing they should fucking ban for sure is bully offers. Like, what is this?
Oh, really?
If you say I'm not taking a bully offer, then you don't take a fucking bully offer, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like, that's one rule that I would stand behind 100%.
But they probably
bully offer. It's just an offer.
In writing, though, the seller has to, when they list the property, they have to have a direction, and it says offers anytime, 48-hour irrevocable, or an offer date, and the seller can't go back on it. That would be a good rule. But the sellers
can go back on it.
No,
that's because they're the consumers. I know they can. They're the
set
consumers.
It up at the starting.
They get to decide. But I wish they didn't.
You have to check off this box here. You get 2 or 3 rounds of go backs, and those are the rules for this.
That's tough.
Rules of engagement.
Why would you tell people there's going to be rounds and then everybody's coming in so low? And we're never going to get it done.
Everybody goes in there like, I don't know. Are they going to ask us for another round? I shouldn't go with my highest thing right now, and I don't know what to do. And then, what the fuck? They took that? It's $500 more. Yeah. Fuck them. Fuck you, TK. You didn't do your job, you asshole.
Let me give you a scenario. Okay. Let me give you a scenario. This is funny. The $500 more thing. Okay. I've been in a situation where, the 2 offers were extremely close. And sometimes, by the way, agents, the seller just basically has to decide between 2 identical offers. They came back and they both said that this is our highest, right? And they're at the exact same offer. And so now the client has to decide, okay, which one do we like? That's why sometimes personal letters, they're useful, because they can get a glimpse of, it's a family, their parent is ill, or whatever it is, right? Or who has the higher deposit, or who doesn't have a clause that's too picky, right? Like they have clauses that are picky. They might say, okay, no, this one has a much cleaner offer. Let's just go with it. So I've been there, and I'm just gonna say one thing. I've been there where one agent was pretty aggressive and saying like, this is our final, that's a good offer, whatever. And I went to my clients and I'm like, this is it. They decide, I don't decide. And they decided on the other person, because how I feel is, if I were on the buyer side, I would have liked someone to give me one last chance because it's the same offer. Am I right?
Of course.
Yes.
Yep.
But
at least give me an option.
But when you go to people round 2, okay, that's fine. That's understood. When you go again to someone on round 3, you know what buyers think? Oh, what is this? They're playing us again, more money. That's what they think.
That's why you set up the rules.
No, but I'm telling you, but that's it. But by the way, you know how it is on offer night. They don't believe you can't. First of all, you can't say like really tied. Like you can't give that information.
Terms count.
And also, I mean, yeah, terms count. But also, they won't believe you. They're just gonna think you're playing them. And buyers take it so personally. Their emotions are so high. And so for me, it's like, okay, do I want to be in a position where they think I'm playing them? And maybe one of them backs out because of their emotions. They're like, oh, I don't want it anymore, right? That happens, right? Mm-hmm. Or do they just want to just pick an offer? And it's funny because the agent will be pissed off. The losing agent will be pissed off no matter what, but they don't realize that I could have helped them if they didn't get pissed off. I could have given them one last chance, right? But a lot of people let emotions get in the way.
Relationships between agents is crucial. Yeah. If you're a jerk, or you think you're the best real estate agent that ever walked the face of the earth, you will have a day of reckoning. Unfortunately, it'll work against you eventually. Buyer or listing, agent, either one.
Okay, if you're a listing agent, yeah, that's fine. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but let's just think short term. As a buyer agent, if the listing agent is a terrible agent, you need to put that to the side, and don't go telling your clients, "Oh, that agent is terrible and so hard." Like, you're just riling them up. To that is the agent now is a reflection of the house. Now they feel like they don't like the house anymore, or they don't like this, or you know what I mean. So it's
or the sellers.
There's no
they don't
point.
like the sellers because their agents a jerk. The sellers could be the nicest people in the world.
It's like too many emotions that are unnecessary just because an agent is not doing their job properly. And so just put that to the side. Swallow your pride, be nice to the person, kill them with kindness, just be nice to the person. As a buyer agent, you should always be nice to the selling agent.
I think the listing agent should also be nice to the buyer agent.
No, I'm with you.
50 agents.
By the way,
there should be no vinegar and all honey.
But I'm just telling you in reality, buyer agent should always be nice for the sake of their client, right? To make this work. Listing agent, yeah, of course. I mean, for me, when I'm on the listing side, I really feel for all the buyer agents. I feel for them. Like, I feel bad. I know this is not the first or last time they're losing. They're going around the city. They're helping me get a good price because they're bringing me an offer. So I have a lot of respect and I treat them, with dignity. And I call every single one to tell them they lost. I don't just text them. A lot of agents will just like text or send an email or keep them waiting until midnight.
Or through Broker Bay.
Yeah, or through Broker Bay, or keep them waiting till midnight and be like, sorry, we accepted, we went with another offer. But for me, it's just, I feel for that. I don't want them to wait too long. And so I want to get the show on the road, or, like, let's just make our moves quickly because there's people waiting and there's like families waiting. And also I call them to tell them. And I really feel bad. I hate making those calls. It's much easier for me to just text them and say, sorry. It's hard to have those calls, but I still do it because the least you can do as a courtesy for someone who actually took the time, they took time to see the property, to ask questions, to write the offer, to present it.
Yeah, they tried to help you sell the place, right?
They helped you sell the place too. That's I think what people forget.
They're helping you get a better price, right? Because the more offers you get, the better the price. So yeah.
And the tables always turn, like I said.
Yeah.
Right. There's always going to be a day where that listing agent who's the jerk is going to be presenting an offer and somebody's going to treat them the same way. And they're going to go, oh, but I find that there is a consistent, there is a consistent attitude that I've seen from some agents. It's not, it's mostly men, And they've been in the business a long time, and I've heard it from them several times, and I'm like, that guy sounds just like so and so and so and so, and it's unfortunate, just like kind of like arrogant. And
is it a sock wearing person, or is it a sockless wearing type?
Sockless.
A lot of socks.
Socks. I'm shocked. I thought they'd be sockless.
So
here,
funny.
Can we shift gears to something that's super important in the real estate market right now that is definitely not at the moment is not relevant to Toronto, but I think there could be an effect. I'm interested to hear your opinions on it if you have one. Have you been following Evergrande or Evergrande in China by any chance?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
This is a major player in the Chinese development world, and they've been riddled with debt for years, and they're now starting to default on a lot of their loans. So the Chinese government's cracking down and basically saying we need to start regulating how much balance sheets are in debt with all these major developers. So it'll really change how developers can move.
But the scale of this company, I mean, this is $300 to $400 billion of debt. Like I don't even know what companies to group together in Toronto for us to understand the magnitude of this, right? Like 300 billion, like what you have to lump in like Cadillac Fairview and like all the big REITs and smart centers and RioCan and like all of them, plus all the top developers, like probably to just grasp
North America.
the idea. Like imagine.
So how would this trickle down to here?
Okay, so people are out there saying, is this like a Lehman Brothers event where in the States, if you remember, Lehman's kind of had an effect on Toronto. I got caught in the crossfires big time from that whole thing. I lost everything and then some because of those fuckers on Bay Street, right? So we have the exact same thing over here, like just way too much corruption, way too much money, way too much debt, and like okay, so these guys have, I think it's like 1.5 million buyers out there that have paid deposits that like their properties are not even under construction yet. 1.5 million people like who are going to get ruined by this whole thing, on top of all of the trades that don't get paid, all of the banks that don't get paid back, all of the suppliers.
Where are these people though?
They're in China.
Yeah.
But there's also like a lot of American banks that have lent money to this.
There's a huge amount of foreign
I don't know
creditors.
Maybe it's a good thing though for Toronto. Like maybe all these people that have been starving for real estate that don't trust the system over there will need more places to park their money, better, safer places.
How is that good for Toronto? It's just gonna.
They can write the letter. They can write the letter. Say, I was screwed over.
Listen, we come from different perspectives. I don't care about a balanced market, right? Like a realtor cares about a balanced market, makes life way easier. I'm a developer. I want these prices to keep pushing up, even though it makes life harder. Like they have to keep pushing up in order for our projects that we buy 5 years ago to make sense by the time they come to market, right? Like we need this appreciation. Or else, like imagine if all the developers all of a sudden, like there's this 30% correction. What happens to all these projects? What happens to the No, but that's what like a crash.
They don't get built. The projects don't get built at those prices. Yeah.
Right.
So we lose the inventory that those would create.
I see a 10%. I see a 10% shift in the suburb and cottage market. Cottage maybe more. Cottages
currently or coming down.
Correction.
Currently?
No, not now. Okay.
Coming.
I think coming. I think in 2-3 years, cottages, there's going to be a ton on the market. That's what I think.
On the water?
Because, forget about Muskoka. I'm talking about all the other places in the middle of nowhere, okay, that nobody even heard about before. All of a sudden, everybody's hungry for cottages. Anything that's under 500K, they wanted to get it. They were using a Toronto agent who has no idea what they're doing in the cottage. And all of a sudden, they have infected water, or they have black flies, they can't even sit outside, or the place is completely like there's no foundation, whatever it is, like that's ruined, it's a terrible place to live in. Or one time I did this story and someone told me that their Toronto agent got them this place, and he didn't know that there were snapping turtles in the water. It's like a waterfront snapping turtles. You can't even swim in that water, and they have no idea. And they overpaid because they're using a Toronto agent. So
to get some alligators.
Anyway, is it?
Get a couple. I don't know. Get a couple pet alligators. Throw them in the water.
But the water's suspect already.
And by the way,
I wouldn't go in half of it.
And also, if anything happens in life, what's the first thing you get rid of? It's your, a luxury product, or like your cottage. That's a bonus. You just get rid of that if you need to strap for money. Also, the other thing is, a lot of people had this fantasy of a cottage, but they have no idea how much maintenance is involved.
Oh my God, I did it for a week. It was hell.
Okay, it's a money pit, and it's a lot.
They closed at one time. Yeah. And then
it was okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm okay putting the canoe in the water. I don't want to carry it back up the hill and put it on the rack. Like there isn't somebody that does this.
Oh my God. Or you know what? Or they buy a place that in winter is inaccessible because there's no cleaning of the road, right? It's just things that they don't even they don't know.
Yeah. So you
the
think
agents,
that there's
the Toronto
gonna be,
agents don't know.
So the cottage market's overvalued, 100%.
Oh, I think forget about Muskoka, maybe not Muskoka because that's all big money, right? And it's there to stay. But all the other areas, I mean, I think that in a year.
Meaford. What about Meaford? Meaford is beautiful.
Yes.
Meaford. Did you see Freed Development just bought all the resorts in Ontario, basically?
No. That's another thing. It's like, listen, we had nothing to do except go to a cottage in summer because no one could travel. You see what I mean? When traveling is going to come back, there's going to be less demand. If you were looking for a cottage for a cottage this summer, the prices were like $10,000 for a week or something. It was so inflated.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Everybody's looking.
We paid $8,000 for a week in the shittiest place. Like, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
We turned on the fan and it started snowing. It was so dirty. It was disgusting. $8,000. Yeah. It's like insanity. So, but okay, imagine if you're the guy who bought a cottage on the water like 3 years ago, just to put it on Airbnb. Like, imagine how much money you just made last summer, and what the rates went to, and what you paid for the place. Like your appreciation went like 8 times, and then the rates went like 30 times.
It's just not gonna stay. It's not gonna stay.
Well, you heard it here first.
That's what I think.
I think the Airbnb market, short-term market for cottages will stay. That demand will be there, right? Because I think more people value cottages today. I think one thing that I've noticed is cottages used to be like the white Canadian thing. You'd go up there and it was just like, you'd have to put sunglasses on because everyone was so bright because they have no tans. And then now you go up there and it's like Toronto, it's like multicultural, like everybody enjoys cottages. So I think that there's more interest in cottages now, which is good. So Airbnbs, but the prices way overvalued.
I mean, we still have those rules against Airbnbs, so it's still a very tricky thing, right?
In Toronto, they have that, but in cottage country, it's a little bit different. There's licenses that they have. Each municipality has different.
And there's a lot of places you can't even Airbnb. Their city has they don't let you.
Yeah, some
and people don't know that. They think they can Airbnb and then they realize they can't. And even if you can, a lot of times the neighbors are not happy with this because they live there all year long and they don't want this to be an Airbnb place. But I was just gonna say before I forget, because I know there's not a lot of time left.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, for condos. So what happened is rents went down, so investors got out of it. And then when rentals then rentals came back, right? So the prices were about almost pre-COVID. And so we started getting more investors wanting to get back into the condo market, right? And so condo sales, they went from high at the beginning of this year, because, coming from a really, low last year. So they went high in the beginning of this year in spring. Then it kind of dipped, and then it went up a little bit again at the end of summer, but now it's kind of dipping again. It's slower now for condos. So it's just so many waves for the condo market. I mean, it's not dead, but it's slower than it was a few weeks ago, a few months ago. during
That's
summer.
why
Sure. I
people
mean, if you
should
needed a
trust.
place for school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that whole thing dried up, right? That was
Yeah,
the
and
push,
for
right?
work, and for work, and for work, people need a
Right.
place they're gonna work, and so they wanna, a lot of 6-figure, 800 credit score. A lot of those tenants moved to the city who have like really good jobs. And what are they going to do? They're also going to buy at some point. But yeah, so the condo market is fluctuating a lot. In terms of resale, right now it's slow. Next year, I mean, it's still a really low interest rate. That's what's just going to keep it solid. That's propping the real estate market up, is the 1.5% interest rate.
Sure.
So it's like even next year when some say, oh, like, is it going to crash? I don't think it's going to crash. Like worst case, it'll be the same, or like same as it is now.
It's going to get bananas around here because soon they will start letting in a ton of immigration. Like they're letting in flights from everywhere now.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like nothing's going on. The only thing going on now is vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers.
Yes.
Everything else is like, we're open for business. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
They can't buy houses, those anti-vaxxers. If you don't have your vaccine, you can't buy a house.
Oh my
They're not allowed.
God. Let's not even
It's funny
go there now.
You know what? We supported ourselves in this past, like since COVID till now, it's been all internal demand, right? And we've done really, really well as a market, very solid. When I say next year, I kind of mean January, February, March. Like, how is that going to look? In terms of when do you think that people are going to actually fly here and move here and travel here and be a tourist here? When do you think that's going to happen?
I think it's
There's no end in
already.
sight.
Yeah,
Is it?
Starting, and it's
longer than we all thought.
Not that much.
Well,
and by the way, we're not Italy. Like you see all those tourists going to Italy and Mexico and all these places. Nobody's coming to Toronto to spend their vacation. You know what I mean? We don't have tourists.
It's people are moving here and moving their money
for
here.
work.
For work, for life, to get the hell out of crazy, government regimes all over the place right now. I mean, this is a pretty good looking place to live compared to like
100%.
Afghanistan, for example.
Of course.
You don't want to live there right now, would you?
Yeah.
So all the reason to get a professional to help you out buy or sell Toronto real estate. Nasma, help me out.
If you want to be treated like Fred Van Vliet,
if you want the royal treatment, how do our listeners find you?
Funny.
Where are you at? What are your contacts here?
So okay, well, my website is onegroupre.com. And Nasma Dotali. You probably have it in your description. Nasma.ali.
We will put it there.
Twitter, Instagram. I post a lot of stories on Instagram, so more than
it's great to follow. Informative, and if anybody hasn't followed you already, they should follow you today. And we really appreciate you being on the show.
I should post a good story now, in case anybody. When is this going to be ready? I don't even know.
This will be ready generally around 4 to 5 o'clock. It comes out.
Oh, today. Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. This may or may not be the last time I come on.
That's okay. We won't ask you for a very long time. We promise.
Unless they don't make it 10. Why was this bad?
No, this was amazing. Listen, I was just going to say, if you want to do it at like 1 o'clock next time, we'll move the needle for you.
We'll definitely do a later time.
Yeah, on a Sunday, that would be better.
No problem.
We thought that like we thought teleporting you into our studio was like a pretty big offering, but obviously not enough.
Yeah,
but that's okay. We will
12 o'clock.
Try and exceed
12 o'clock
your
start time.
expectations next
time.
12.
No, because you book it a month in advance, and I have no idea what I'm doing a month.
I know you get to dread it for a whole month.
And now I'm in Collingwood with like not this background.
Oh my God, I gotta do this.
See my like I'm literally I have pillows under this laptop to prop it. Anyway. But thank you guys. It's always fun.
You're our favorite
natural conversation. Oh, you say that to every guest.
No, 100%.
Most of them, I don't know so much.
They don't make it back.
That's so good.
Most of them don't make it back. Yeah.
That's funny. But
okay. Good luck out there and safe trip getting back home.
Have a great day.
Yes.
Take care. Bye, guys.
Take it easy.